Hello everyone, welcome back to Continental Food and Cake TV. If today is your first time here, you are highly welcome. My name is Joy. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make Nigerian meat pie, or called mince pie. I'll show you the one that is so moist. The filling is so moist and the pastry is so flaky. Did you see that? So moist. So if you're interested, please keep watching. If you're new here, if not subscribed, please press that button where it says subscribe. Also turn your notification bell so that whenever I upload new video, you're not going to miss out. Do not forget to drop your comment and give me a big thumbs up. Let's get started. Next, I'm going to introduce you to all the ingredients: chopped carrot, chopped Irish potato, beef mince 500 gram, non-cube, aromat for seasoning, curry powder, minced herb, salt for taste, 800 gram of self-rising flour, and 400 gram of cold butter. Next, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt into the flour. Then add the cold butter. Please, you have to make sure your butter is cold. After adding the butter into the flour with a clean hand, I'm going to mix together until I achieve something that looks like a breadcrumbs consistency. Please remember, when making your own dough, if you're using self-rising flour, you do not need to add baking powder, but if you're using plain flour, you need to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. After mixing the flour and the butter together for a couple of minutes, you're going to achieve something like this that looks like a breadcrumbs. The next step is to make the pastry or the dough. To add flavor to the dough, I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of vanilla flavor. Then create a hole in the center of the flour. To form a dough, I'm going to be adding cold water. Please make sure your water is cold. With the cold water, you don't want to add all of it at once. You want to add as you mix. And I'm going to be mixing the cold water with the flour until I get a dough consistency. When making the pastry or dough for your meat pie, the consistency you should be going for is the dough that does not stain your finger. Once you've achieved that, transfer the dough to a clean surface. Sprinkle some flour. This is going to ensure that the dough does not stick to the work surface and easy to work with. So then you're going to knead the dough for 2 minutes. Please, you do not want to overwork or over knead the dough. If you do, you're going to get a stretchy dough and you're going to develop the gluten in the flour. Remember, we're not making bread, we're making flaky meat pie. After kneading the dough for 2 minutes, this is what it looks like. It might look like the dough is not well kneaded. Do not worry, that's meat pie. This is where people go wrong when they're making meat pie. I'll show you. Did you see me pressing my finger into the dough and my finger is coming out clean? That's the perfect consistency you want to knead your dough or mix your dough to. You can see me tearing the dough. You see, that's when you get the flaky. That's how you get the flaky meat pie. You see how the dough is tearing? Yeah. So now I'm going to put in a bag and put in a fridge to cool down for 1 hour. This step is so important. Even the next day is more better. Next is to make the filling for the meat pie. I have my pan in a medium high. To that, I'm going to add the beef mince or minced beef, 500 gram. And with the mince, it contains 20% fat. So please read your label when you buy yours. If it contains 10 or 20% fat, you don't want to fry with vegetable oil. So I'm going to be frying this until it turns brown, like dark brown. It takes between 10 to 12 minutes, but because my mince is frozen, it might take longer. And if you notice, I'm not frying with any onion. I don't like to add onion in my meat pie. But if you do, feel free to fry your onion before you start frying your minced beef. After frying from this to this, then to this, which is dark brown, next I'm going to season, and I'm going to be seasoning with minced herb, curry powder, then add 1 non-cube chicken, with a spatula. I'm going to mix until the beef mince is well combined with the seasoning. Then I'm going to be adding the carrot and the potato, and with the carrot and potato you just want to add as much as you want. So you can see me, I'll add first and mix. If I need more, then I'll add more. With this, you just have to add as much as you want. There's not too much, there's no less, depending on how you want your meat pie to be. Some people want a lot of carrot, some people want a lot of potato. So just feel free to do what you want at this point. I'm also going to mix until it's well combined. At this point, I'm going to be adding some salt for taste. After that, I'm going to be adding some water to help the potato and carrot cook until soft, but not too soft, like 80% cooked. After that, I'm going to be adding some AROMAT to boost the taste. Then mix it together. Please, you want to make sure you're mixing together, and you can see the level of the water that I added. So you don't want your water to be above the minced meat or the filling. So I'm going to cover with the lid and allow it to cook in a medium high for 10 to 15 minutes. I'll come back and check on it. It's been 15 minutes. At this point, I'm going to check if the potato is cooked enough. So I'm going to pinch the potato and check it's cooked, it's soft but not too soft. Remember, it's still going to be baking in the oven. So next, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of flour to thicken up. With this, you can add more flour, but remember, if you're going for a moist meat pie, you just want to stop with 1 tablespoon of flour. Remember that when the filling cools down, it's also going to thicken up. After adding the flour, you need to mix very well until there's no lumps. And also you want to make sure that the flour is well cooked. You don't want to taste the raw flour in your mixture or in your filling. Next step is to leave the filling to cool down completely. Please, you don't want to use this when it's hot. To bake the meat pie, I have the oven rag and the parchment paper lying on top. You can use the oven tray if that's what you have. I cracked 1 egg, which I'm going to use to brush on top of the meat pie. Next, I have the mold, which I'm going to use to mold the meat pie. Then I have the flour to sprinkle on the work table while kneading the dough. Then the rolling pin to roll the dough. Then that's the dough straight from the fridge after resting for an hour. Then I have the filling for the meat pie. It's cooled down completely, and you can see it's sticking up the more. Next, I sprinkle some flour in a clean surface. With a knife, I'm going to cut and divide the dough into 4. This is going to ensure that you do not overwork or overhandle the dough. Too much handling of the dough is going to affect the texture of the meat pie. Remember, we are going for a flaky meat pie. So I sprinkle more flour and I'm going to give the dough a little bit knead. Then roll it out until flat, but not too flat. to roll the dough until flat, but you don't want to roll it too thin. I'm going to show you. So this is the thickness that you want. So after that, I'm going to be taking the back of the cutter, the meat pie cutter, and cut the dough. I'll cut 3. Then I'll take the smaller size of the mold. I'll take one of the dough and place on top of the meat pie mold. Scoop a tablespoon of the filling and place in the center of the dough. Then with the egg wash, I'm going to brush one side of the dough, then lift one side of the mold and cover the mold. Press firmly. After pressing firmly, I'm going to take out the excess dough. After that, I'm going to open the mold and you get this yummy, beautiful meat pie. I'm going to repeat this step again. Take one of the dough and place on top of the meat pie mold. After that, scoop a tablespoon of the filling, the meat pie filling, place in the center of the dough. After that, with the egg wash, you're going to be brushing one side of the dough. After brushing that is going to serve as the glue to glue the dough. Then you're going to be lifting one side of the mold to the other side, closing it up. After closing it up, you're going to press firmly. Then take out the excess dough, open the mold, and you get this beautiful meat pie. So I'm going to show you another way to make the meat pie in case you don't have the mold. This is the cover of a blender, the cover of my blender. I'll use that to cut the dough. You can see it cuts the dough. Then this is a saucer. You can see a plate like this. Doesn't matter the size. Place it in the dough and take it out. So with a pizza cutter, I'm going to cut around it. This is if you do not have the meat pie mold, but if you do, you can use that, and you can get it in eBay to buy. So I'm going to take out the excess. That's the excess. So with the meat pie filling, I'm going to scoop 1 tablespoon in the center of the dough. Please, you have to make sure this is in the center of the dough when you're making this. And whenever you have the excess like this, you can still roll it back. Rub the egg wash here, one side of the dough. So with this, you want to gently lift one side of the dough, lift it to the other side of the dough, and press the edge with your finger. Just press the edge like that. You do the same to this one. Press the edge like that. It's so easy and simple to do. Then with a fork like this, just dent the end, the edge. Just go around the edge with the fork and just press it. It's going to create like a design. And also it's going to seal the edge of the meat pie, because if you don't do this, when baking the meat pie in the oven, the meat pie is going to open. So this is the 2 meat pie. Beautiful. So you can also make meat pie at home if you don't have the mold. After molding the meat pie, the next step is to bake in the oven 180 degrees Celsius. But you want to heat up your oven for 10 to 15 minutes before putting in your meat pie. So with a fork, I'm going to poach all the meat pie, then brush on top of it with the egg wash, then put it in the oven to bake 180 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes depending on your oven, until the meat pie is golden brown. Now I'm putting the meat pie in the oven. Please preheat your oven 180 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes, and you want to put your meat pie in the center of the oven shell. And also you want to use this setting when baking where the heat is up and down. If not, you're going to flick the meat pie over after baking for 20 to 25 minutes. So ensure that you use the setting where the heat is up and down to avoid that. So So that's the meat pie straight from the oven, and I'm going to break into one. This tastes so yummy. So you can see the one we made with the salsa, the blender cover, then these ones are with the mold. So let's break into one of this meat pie. Look at that, yummy upon yumminess. Oh my god, did you see how moist inside is? Moist, so moist. Look at that, yummy. You don't want to miss this. So this is how to make Nigerian meat pie that is moist inside and soft. Then the pastry is so flaky. Did you see that? Very flaky. Tastes so yummy. So guys, I'm going to leave you all here. I was eating the meat pie that I couldn't even talk, so I'm going to do voiceover. So thank you so much for watching this video to the end. If you're my subscriber, thank you for coming back, and for those who have been subscribing to this channel, thank you so much, because we've been having new subscribers. Thank you for joining this family. And if you've not subscribed, please press that button where it says subscribe. Also turn your notification bell so that whenever I upload new video like this, you're not going to miss out. Thank you for doing so. Do not forget to check the description box. You're going to find all the ingredients that I use in making this yummy meat pie. And also follow me on Instagram, continentalfood.cake. Do not forget to like, comment. Please drop your comment. I found out that a lot of people watch the video, they don't drop comment. I don't know. If you don't drop comment, I wouldn't know that you watch my video. So please drop your comments. You know, as I do it, I love you all, and I will see you in another one. Bye bye.